Okay, everyone, we're going to begin our meeting. This is a follow-up from a preliminary meeting that we had a few weeks ago. And Joe, John, and Vern, if you all would like to introduce your team and start presenting.
My name is John Curtis, and we're looking at a property at 3766 Pinhook, and to develop the site and put 22 homes on that site, of which I'll be showing you some renderings. Joe and I are partners and looking at doing various developments in the Nashville area.
We have some questions.
Joe, well, I can go ahead and start presenting. I didn't know if you wanted to introduce yourself and then Vern you as well.
That's fine. Hi, I'm Joe Billiteri. I'm from the Chicago area. And like John said, we're getting started developing in the area. We're small developers from the Chicago area. And we just been driving around and found an area we're comfortable with. So,
yeah, sorry I was muted. I've met and been working with Joe and John on this property. I'm Vern Dant, a local developer here in Nashville, and I love the Antioch area. I love how it's getting better and better over time and expanding, and we think this will really add to the area and the street to make things nice. So I'm working with Joe and John on this, and Deonte, of course.
John, you want to start presenting?
Yep. There we go. Okay, this is the site plan. Can everybody see it? Okay, so this is the site plan. It's a over 3 acre parcel, and we have a kind of a curved entry off of Pinhook. Down at the lower portion, right in this area, the facing Pinhook, we will have a black spindle aluminum fence that goes around this area and just returns back to about right in here where you can see the cursor. And the same thing on the other side, kind of creating a little more private enclave feel to the neighborhood. We do have a little green space area up front, along with the gazebo, which is right here where the cursor is. And then also in the back portion here by the cul-de-sac, that is actually potentially detention. We don't know how much space we'll need, but we've allocated for the detention on the stormwater. And then also there'll be green space around that area as well. The homes themselves are all in the mid 1600 to 1750 square foot. They'll be 3-bedroom homes, 2.5 baths, and then 2-car garages. Yeah, we do like quartz countertops, stainless steel appliances, and try to make the homes with vinyl plank. But try to make the homes very, very nice so that it minimizes the amount of options that a buyer would have to take in order to, get to the level of a real nice home. Since we're small developers, that's one of our edges that we have done in the past and continue to do is include several things that like your larger production builders would not include. So let's go back one. So this is the one of the elevations of the homes that we are going to do. The houses themselves will have a brick or stone course around the bottom for the roughly about the first 30 inches. That would be standard, full brick like on the front by the front door and going up as well as around the garage. And I'll show you some other elevations that would be available as well. The standard garage door does have the windows in it, just to, again, give the home a little more life and depth to it. And then we will be using, even as you can see in this particular one, we have the horizontal siding and the vertical siding, little gable details. Again, just to offset the home and kind of make them nicer and more attractive and long-term appeal. This is the different elevation. Instead of the stone, we're using the brick at the bottom. Again, mixed use of materials to really make it like a seem and appear as a nice custom home. Horizontal siding. You have the vertical siding on the box out of the window above the garage there. Shingle roof. We're using metal on the above the porch on this one, as well as above the window, the bedroom window, which is above the garage there. And again, just mixed use of materials on the exteriors in order to give the homeowners, something that they are really proud of. This particular one, you can see that the brick would go all the way up. We do have some corbels, on either side of the garage there. And we have the gable detail as well, up in the gables above the windows on the second floor. Again, different siding mixes between the horizontal and the vertical. And then also the metal roof that is over the garage area and over the front entry area. And again, our whole concept is that we can deliver a very nice product and still have a very lovely neighborhood, etc., and that will have long-term curb appeal.
All right, John, thank you for that update. And also, I appreciate you taking in the feedback from our previous meeting with adding the changes to the elevation. So I thank you for that. We'll begin with questions from the community. Are there any questions, any thoughts?
Hi, my name is Carolyn Hatcher. How big is the patio in the back? Is it just as wide as the house, or can you add on to the patio in the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
The patio would, we're anticipating about a 10 by 10 would be included. And then if somebody wanted to enlarge it to make it as wide as the home, or, further in depth, either direction or both, that will be available.
Thank you, Ms. Hatcher, for your question.
Hello, everyone. This is Sonia Shelton. I live at 3756 Penning Hook Road, which is just one house away from that property. So I do have some concerns. I noticed that you said on there that you're going to have, was it a pavilion that you're going to have at the front?
Yes. You can see where the cursor's at, there'll be a little gazebo there.
Gazebo, yes. I'm a little concerned with that because with the high school being right across the street, there are a lot of kids that skip school, and they tend to go to those areas and sit and wait until school's over and then come back to school. So my concern is that even being there, because it causes more traffic for misactivity, I guess you would say.
Right.
Because we've lived here a long time, so.
Yeah, we can easily delete that, or when we again do have the black fence that it's going to be aluminum fence, so it'll have the spindles in the top and bottom rail, etc., that will start where my cursor's at. It'll come around and stop along the front of the road. It'll come around. Obviously, we have the entry area, and then same thing. It'll wrap around to where the beginning of the house number 1 starts there. So if that, and again, we're open to everybody feels like it would be better if it was deleted, that's easily done.
And also, Ms. Shelton,
Yes.
so anytime we have these developments, because oftentimes what happens is they build, but there's not any space, like a community space or like a open space for the residents. And so I have been asking them to do that, but I thank you for uplifting that concern because I didn't factor that in. Our thought was adding a space for the residents where, we can go walk, sit at the pavilion, however, but thank you for uplifting that concern.
Yes, because the neighborhood right across the street, they're going to that little park area that they made over there, and they're sitting there. But then they're also breaking in the homes, and they're doing other stuff because they were using my neighbor's water one day, and I had to call him at work and it's like, "Hey, they're using your water. Do you want me to call the police?" I mean, it's just little small things like that. And I mean, we live right across from the school, so we see a lot. But yeah, I'm a little concerned with that. Also, with the development of these homes, um, what is it going to look like? Because I know we just had field lines done at our property, and when we had new field lines put in, we faced a lot of rock. My concern is blasting from the contractors, and how is that going to be reserved and maintained so it does not destroy homes? Because you are very close to my neighbor and the person on the other side of that property.
And I'll I'll call the site preparation, and if we do encounter, bedrock at various locations, which was anticipated, then if there is the need for the blasting, there's also where you can water it down. Typically, if there's a high dust factor that is going to be caused, whether I would be demolishing an existing building or blasting rock or whatever it is, we have water trucks there that are actually putting water onto it, which keeps that dust down and minimizes it just going into the air and carrying throughout the neighborhood.
So, John, I don't know that. So I appreciate that, but I don't know that that is speaking to her concern. Her concern is more so like foundation. There's been times. So there's a few concerns hearing her that comes to mind. Um, Blasting, and now you are disrupting the foundation of another home, or even blasting after hours. Even though we have state regulations, there's some contractors, they'll come out here and they'll try to blast and work throughout the night if they can. And so
No.
I believe that may be her concern. And I apologize if that's not Miss Shelton, but that is where
No,
my mind went.
you're correct because I'm concerned because our home is an older home, and I do understand that we are on a lot of gravel. Um, Literally, they thought they weren't going to be able to put the field lines in. That's how bad the rock and gravel is up under the ground because literally they had to really break up a lot, and they were humongous, not small. Basically, once they got to a certain point, it was all rock. It's like they put dirt over like a whole solid bed of rock. And I mean, I have pictures and everything, but it's solid rock all the way across. So either we were built on a hill with a lot of just a whole solid rock, but they just put dirt on top of it. And now, since we've been here for years, the rock has grown up. Of course, it calcifies and goes up. But yeah, that is my major concern because I mean, windows, doors, I mean, walls. I don't want to see any cracks in my house,
Right.
and I live so
Yeah.
close to it that is a very, very high concern for me because it's so close.
Over
Have you
overall,
guys, John, have you guys done any studies or surveys to identify if blasting will be needed or how much you anticipate on blasting?
we have not had any soil slash structural ground structural surveys done at this time.
Okay.
That was one of our next step of working with Roy Dale from Dale and Associates, and that would be one of our next steps is to take get those geologists out there, check the soils out, and then go ahead and soil engineers, and then go ahead and be able to make our determinations from that as to what is going to be required.
If it helps some, John, as well, and Ms. Sheldon, I did meet a soil guy out there, a geotech guy, about a year and a half ago, and I think she's exactly right. You're right, Ms. Sheldon. There's going to be some rock, but is it possible that you guys or if we're working together on it, can lean more towards either the hoe ram instead of blasting, if that can be used more to lessen, and also if there's any direct damage to her home at all, we could maybe look at it before and after, and certainly cover anything if there's any kind of a crack or something that was caused.
How would you
I'm not trying to. I'm saying from all of us, we could come up with if it was any type of. Is that fair enough that we would cover any type of damage caused or no?
Vern, my ask would be that we do a structure survey before and after. One, it tells the homeowner where, like, currently the structure, but then also after blasting, we can identify if there were changes.
Huh.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
That would be my ask.
We certainly don't want any damage, of course.
Absolutely, I do not. You're correct. I do not want any damage.
Yes,
Um,
that's
Okay, Ms. Shelton, thank you for uplifting those concerns. Do we have
Thank
some
you.
more concerns?
Yeah, hey, this is D. I have a few questions that I would like to ask the developers. My first question is, and sorry if you stated this initially, what siding did you state would be on the homes?
Well, we are using a LP Smart Side, which is a 50-year warranty product, that competes with Hardy board. It's just a Louisiana Pacific product versus Hardy.
Okay, awesome. And then my next question is, have you guys started to brainstorm overall pricing for these units?
Yes, we're running pricing models now, and we're looking at anywhere from 425 to 450 is what our anticipation is. We're trying to stay as low as possible. One of the main things is that being a smaller developer, we're looking for the sales velocity, and obviously the pricing makes the homes attractive. And so we do everything we can to make it cost effective and keep the price as low as possible.
Okay, thank you for that. And then my last question is, I know you guys stated that you're a small developer, so I do thank you for being transparent in reference to that. But do you have any examples outside of kind of mock-ups that you could possibly share? Maybe it's a development that's not in the Middle Tennessee area, but something that we could reference from a productivity standpoint that you guys have done in the past?
Yes. Let's see.
send them to the website, John?
Well, no, what I'll do is let me just pull up.
While we're waiting on them, D. So just in our previous conversations, I did address a hardy board or a similar product versus vinyl. I have not approved, and I don't intend on approving anything with vinyl. With state preemption, we have to be very careful in our ask, but I'm not approving any vinyl.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And why?
I think Deonte, when he mentioned earlier, he meant luxury vinyl plank for the flooring. If he mentioned the word vinyl, which is that.
Yeah, exterior wise, we're using LP product, which is a hardboard.
Yeah.
Again, it competes with.
Well, it's what's in the neighborhood currently, so it fits in.
Yeah, so it competes with the hardy board.
That's exactly where I got that from Vern. So thank you
So,
for. clarify that.
Here's just a couple, I don't know if everybody can see this, but this is just a couple products and things that we have built in the Chicagoland area. This is a little retail in a downtown.
I don't
It's,
see it.
it's not,
I don't see it, John.
Okay, hang on.
showing. That's,
Come up.
Nope.
We're still seeing the mock-up of the 22 homes.
Okay, here, let me.
well, these guys have beautiful developments. One of the things that drew me to want to work with them is seeing what they do in their area in Chicago, Illinois area.
Yeah, worst case scenario, if we can't make it work, we always send you to the website too. It's a prayer tree.
Oh, that was for a client that I did a coffee table for.
I would say, John, I don't want to hijack the meeting. If you could,
Oh, here we go. Does that work?
yeah, we can
Yeah,
see.
there you go.
Okay, so this is a retail center that we did in, it's a little quaint downtown area of a municipality that's in our area. This is we restored a building from the late 1800s back to its original feel and everything after
Roll over.
100
We
years.
can't see that photo.
You're not seeing that, Deonte? Oh, well, yeah, we can see
Yeah,
the,
there you
yeah.
See it?
Can you see that,
Yes.
Deonte?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're good.
And then this is an apartment, a 30-unit apartment building that we have built in Woodstock, Illinois, which is in the northwest suburbs of Chicago.
It's where Groundhog Day was filmed.
The movie Groundhog's Day,
Love
yeah.
it.
And that's like an interior shot of one of the apartments within that building. Townhouses that we have built in Villa Park, Illinois. And those were tuck under garages, 3-story tuck under. These are some apartment buildings that we have done in another municipality called East Dundee in the Chicago. Two 18-unit buildings, 36 units total in that particular development. This one is a sister development of that, another 36 units. There's Penny, American Mattress, Jersey Mike's. We do some retail things as well. This is a mixed use building that we have done, and that is about 18,000 square feet of retail with 27 condos above that. And that was done in McHenry. It was right on the water too. And so, but that kind of gives you a flair for some of the, other construction and buildings that we have done in the last several years in the Chicagoland area.
Have you got one of that beautiful looking that subdivision, that latest one you guys showed me, that really nice looking?
Oh, the Grove.
With the Grove, maybe. Yeah, that thing is really high end. It looks like something with Brentwood or
Stillwell Grove.
yes,
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull those renderings.
The Stillwell Grove project is, as a matter of fact, we're getting approval for that by the community. Tonight's the final meeting, but we wanted to be here. We have a representative there. So, John, if you can find it, can show you what we're looking at starting soon as the ground thaws, something you guys don't have to worry about.
Huh.
And John, while you're pulling it up, I did just want to make one last comment and then I'll turn it back over to Councilmember Harrell. But I do want to just thank you guys for your transparency. This is probably my first call that I've been on with developers in quite some time, but I do appreciate all the feedback that you guys are receiving, as well as ensuring that this development will have positive impacts, such as, ensuring that my sister Shelton, if she has any concerns, that you guys are addressing those prior to the development, and of course, if it gets approved after that, because the whole purpose of developments in the area is that we want to make sure that they are reasonable, as well as making positive impacts for our community. So I just want to thank you guys for your transparency and as well as your willingness to work with us. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
Mr. Curtis,
Yes.
this is Gail Dapolito. How far down Pinhook are these going to be in relation to Chutney?
I'm not familiar with Chutney. Is that the development that's to the west there by near the stoplight?
Pinhook makes a sharp right turn onto Chutney.
Okay. I would,
Other
That's,
end.
do you have an idea where?
that is actually further away. We're right here at Antioch High School.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
And
Can you,
all of the homes are 2 stories,
yes, they are.
so a handicapped person would not be able to live in that subdivision.
Unless there was a stair lift put in.
Does it have a bedroom on the first floor? That was one of the bedrooms.
At this time, it is not anticipated to have bedrooms on the first floor. It'd be all second floor bedrooms.
Okay, because it's smaller, we cut back to the only 22, so that was one nice thing to give it more area and more woodsy green space between the houses, which was great.
Yeah, we were already on the road for approval to what was it, John? 28 homes?
Yeah,
Yes, we cut it back to 22.
Yeah, because we were kind of
you see-
uncomfortable. We were kind of uncomfortable with the, we want, like John said, we want it to be a comfortable place to live. So the houses aren't as wide. That's why we don't have the ranch. But I think it's still a nice area without having too much congestion.
You see these renderings yet or no?
I'm going to check. So currently there's no runnings. We see you all. I am in the chat. There is nothing in the chat. So for those who were not who's unable to attend our previous meeting, I'll give some updates. So this particular development, it's 2-car garage. The setback is 20 feet from the road. In regards to the cutback in homes, we did have that conversation regarding the lot lines and just having space. Oftentimes, developers come in and they try to put as many homes on a parcel as they can. And so, again, man, I appreciate you all hearing the feedback and making those changes or those adjustments.
We find it works
Yeah,
better that way.
Yeah, and we're trying to make it just a very, actually, we're very proud of all the product that we do. Small company, it's Joe and I, and of course we have staff, but it's we're a small company, and everything that we do, we feel that we just want to make a beautiful product and leave our legacy behind.
And we
This
do want
is some of.
Go ahead, John.
This is some of the product that we have a subdivision in the Huntley area, which is a northwest suburb of Chicago, which there's 41 homes. And again, this is 2-story product. It's a little bit wider, so it allows us a little more variance and detail. But you can kind of see what we're doing is we're taking these same elements in a home this size, and we are transferring those elements into the homes that we are proposing to put on Pinhook.
John, do we have the overall site plan
For
so they could see the layout of the.
I do have a question. Hi, I've got a couple of questions. My first question is, the homes will be sold and not rented, is that correct?
Is correct.
There's enough of a rented product, so we want to offer
Okay.
for sale product.
Alrighty, and then what did you guys say the lot size is?
Lot size,
For each
they're
home,
approximate.
each individual home.
Yes, for each individual home, the lot sizes are approximately 3,500 square feet. This is the site plan that we're doing with those 41 homes that I was just showing those elevations.
Mhm. And with those,
I don't see it. Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. And with those 41 homes, have those homes been completed and they're occupied?
No, that is a project that we are just breaking ground on. We're a little colder here, so we have 30 inches of frost in the ground. So anyway, we'll be breaking ground on that probably towards the end of March sometime in the year.
Okay. And the reason why I asked is because I appreciate you all showing the pictures of other projects that you've worked on. I'm just curious to know what kind of concerns have been expressed by other um, neighborhoods or developments that you have been involved in. What type of concerns are you receiving from the homeowners in developments that you have developed in the past?
Not to brag, but the we had a product that was about 20 feet wide, and with those townhouses that I showed you previously that we did in Villa Park, and the homeowners their only comment is that they wanted it to it'd be nice just for furniture arrangement and everything on the inside, that if we went with a minimum of 22. So that was all comments that are taken to heart from our previous, whether it's an apartment rental tenant or retail, whatever. And on these, we have 27 in width. So and the garage is pulled forward. So that comment has stuck with me for the last 3-4 years since we completed that project, and always ensuring that the homes are wide enough, and we take the time even to go through and see how furniture placement would be within the home, and the ability to move in, move out, as well as decorate and put your furnishings in there and make it as homey and livable as possible. But that primarily we have, again, not to brag, but we just have a lot of positive comments from our tenants and homeowners that we have built for in the past.
That's good to hear. Very, very good to hear. Last question. Has a traffic study been conducted to determine how the additional 22 homes will impact the area?
Not yet. We are very early on. This is our second preliminary meeting. My goal is to bring it to the community and get our concerns addressed prior to them spending their time through various metro departments.
Very good. Thank
After
you.
this meeting, if the community is in approval, they will run their application to planning, and then planning will give us more information regarding what are the criteria in order for this to be approved.
Anybody with
Mr. Dante, since I wasn't on the call last time, it was kind of during the school shooting, so my kids go to that school. So I was not able to make it on that call. Is there any information that you can send me from that call that day?
I just went ahead and put the YouTube link to last meeting in the chat if you would like to visit that. And if you would like to see any other past meetings or anything, you can go to Metro Nashville Network on YouTube, and all of Deonte's meetings are on there.
Oh,
Thank you,
perfect. Thank
thank you,
you.
Melanie.
That's nice.
Hi again, it's Carolyn Hatcher. My concern now, since I saw this in Franklin, Tennessee, the water flow. Have you guys did a test about the flooding and the water flow in this new area? Was that done? Because it showed
not
that.
Miss Carolyn, we have not done so yet.
Oh,
This is preliminary. We're really early into this,
oh,
and they will be required to do so. Based off of those recommendations, Metro will either give them a set of standards, or they will have to buy into the general fund in order to help increase infrastructure in another area, if that area is already okay.
thank you so much.
And that's what, if you can see the cursor, that's what this whole area here is designed for also, is anticipation of, the stormwater management.
I do have a question, and I could have missed it. I know that you did mention in regards to the homes will be sold and not rented. I guess my concern is it being like sold to the big rental companies that buy the homes and then rent them out.
That is not our,
And Shannon,
that's not what we're looking to do. Yeah, these are for individual home buyers.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Will
Thanks
this
for your question, Nathan.
will this community have an HOA?
Was that deep?
Yeah, yes, it will have an HOA.
Okay, because I was thinking that could possibly something that can be written in the covenants regarding rental capacity for this neighborhood.
Well, I think that's something that we need to look at. But really, at this point, we have no plan, but I understand your concern about rentals. But that being said, markets turn, you get stuck with something, you're gonna need a second way out. So that's something for us to think about as well. But, the products we've done here, everything's been sold.
So, Joe, can you elaborate on exactly? I think I caught what you were saying. You were saying that what you guys are wanting to have is option one and option two, which means if there's a downturn in the economy, you guys would want to ensure that the homes are sold. And so, in that stance, you wouldn't really care who you sold it to. Did I hear you correctly?
Well, no, I didn't say we wouldn't care who we sold it to. But we'd have to look at what other options if there's no sales market. Well, we're not, to be honest, John, we're not going to build these houses unless they're sold anyway. We might have one or two specs, but we're not going to build them all and then hope to sell them.
Right. So we don't have any exposure on that, Joe. So we're going to have a
Right.
model home, and we'll have one or two spec homes
Yep.
being built for quicker move-in people who need something quicker than waiting the whole construction period. And so we don't have the exposure there. So that would allow us to do
Work with the neighborhood.
with
Yep.
a for sale product.
Right.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, right. And then you could confirm me if I'm right on this, Deonte. Certainly, as a realtor, Nashville certainly has a shortage. It seems to me of nice single family homes in this affordable in a price range like this that's not crazy 600,000-700,000, but they're still really nice homes. Seems to me that these are they'll sell probably about as fast as they can get them done. Something this nice in this type of a reasonable price range, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think this is, a sweet spot. The conversation that we had between us and your group, I want a variety of housing, man. And so, this feels a need, but we have there's multiple levels of housing that we need. And so my goal, I don't want all entry level housing. I want a variety of housing because we have a variety of needs. And the concern that I have received as a council member is that, hey, if I buy a home in Antioch and we decide that we outgrow this home, I would like to be able to get a nicer home within the same area or not have to move to a different area. Uh, and so this product, I like the product, and I'm very appreciative. There was one elevation that I absolutely didn't like. I told y'all I didn't like it, and y'all scrapped it and gave me something else. So I appreciate it. Thus far in our conversations, any of the concerns that we've had, you guys have done a great job of meeting those concerns. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Council member Harrell. Um, I am definitely uneducated on how all of this works. Um, would it be possible for you to share maybe on the Facebook page or perhaps if you have a list of email addresses where you could share with us what the next steps are? Particularly concerning, I know you mentioned that there's a couple of things that will have to be done before it goes to planning. Is it possible for you to maybe share a list of maybe step-by-step protocol that's going to happen in order for this to manifest?
Okay,
Certainly.
so I can answer it here, and I'll probably have to create something. I'll see what planning has before I do that because I don't want to recreate the wheel. But so right now we're in the early phase. So I have changed how we look at development or how we engage with our developers. The thought is that before anything goes to planning, it comes to us. If we have to have multiple meetings, we have multiple meetings. And so once we get enough information or enough concerns addressed, then they move forward with planning and zoning. So going to planning, planning will look over any metro department that will be involved: Metro Water, Metro Schools, the fire department, the police department. They all will look at this plan, and based off of this, we'll get an estimate. Okay, based off of 22 houses, we're gonna have 7 students.
So, and then also we will, anyway, so also Metro does in the planning department and then also in the permitting aspect, they do have online all the documentation that they do require, which obviously being a developer in the Chicagoland area, the documentation is 98, 99% the same documentation that we would have here as uh, the Nashville metro area has as well. So, Deonte, we could take a just look at the itemization that they have in order to submit for a permit for review. And then once we do submit, it does go through a very rigorous process. It will take approximately 6 to 8 months to get a permit. And that is after each department within Metro reviews those documents, makes their comments, we make our revisions. And again, as Deonte said, not only all the public services, such as the fire and the water and the police, everybody looks at it, but also the civil engineers that work for Metro, they will be reviewing this documentation to ensure that stormwater management is in place and all the other code as far as construction, even as far as when the water connections are done and pieces of pipe put together, they specify the specific type of clamps and connection systems that we have to use. So everything even underground goes through scrutiny from the Metro civil engineers to ensure that everything is done 100% to the best of that can be done, at this point in time in the history of the U.S. But so, and we're doing a process overall like that just with our Huntley development here in Illinois. And we have gone through 8 reviews and 14 months and we're still just finishing up to get the civil engineering approved. And the Metro is a little different system as far as the way that it is designed internally, management style. So they're a little quicker, but it's still, we're anticipating between 8 and 9 months for the review process. Once we're approved by planning to go ahead and develop these documents, the civil engineering and architectural drawings, that's when we start submitting, and that's when it'll take 8 to 9 months from that point in time for everybody to review, give us their comments internally in Metro. We make our corrections, and essentially we go through several rounds of review on the documentation.
If anyone has questions on how this works, I put a link in the chat to the Metro Nashville website that kind of walks you through the steps and shows you everything that John just talked about.
Melanie. Are there any other questions or concerns? I'll take that as a no. All right, John. I will follow up with you all tomorrow.
Okay, very good.
And I think the next step, because the questions that were asked tonight, we won't know until we get the conditions from planning and zoning. So I'm okay with you all sending your application to planning and zoning. However, if approved, it will not go to council floor until we present the final plan to the community.
Okay.
All right, well, everyone, thank you for attending. If there's no other questions or concerns, we're gonna end. Melanie, will you stop the recording?